Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Reviewing Comics with me, your host, Alexander Turbin. Today we're going to finish off Comico Primer #1, the last storyline, which is Scrog. I think it's called Scrog. It's a little bit of a weird one, and but that's okay. We like weird on this channel, don't we? It's called Scrog. Yep. But before we get into that, I'd like to show you some of my own work. This is Random Access. It's a full-size, full-color anthology that I produce every month. You can get this at patreon.com/AlexTurbin, or you can get these at comicscreatorsmarketplace.com. It's got me, a whole bunch of other artists, Asor D, Tim Quinn, Jack Jr., Doug Roberts, Dave Citrone, Paul Courtjohn, and Jake Quirk, Jeremy Duncan, and it's always filled with all kinds of awesome, amazing artwork by all kinds of awesome, amazing artists, and it's really fantastic. It's 20 pages for $3 a month. I might at some point raise the price because, as you know, postage always goes up. So, but not for now. For now, it's $3 for 20 pages of insanely awesome comic book artwork. So let's get into Munchkin Murders. Introducing Scrog. It did have its own comic book, and it was created in 1982 by Bill Susinata. I'm not entirely sure how to say that. He did go on to do quite a bit of work. He did some DC and Marvel stuff, so he did go on to become a professional comic book artist. I'm not sure what he's doing nowadays, but it's really always so fantastic to see an artist how they began their career and then see what they did later on. So that's really awesome. Maybe he's one of the guys I'll do when I go and look at different ages, different interims, different whatever you call it, of their art, different stages of their artwork and their creativity. This must be his first thing, I could only assume. But that would be an interesting thing because he did really turn into an amazing artist. So, Scrog. Like I said, this is a weird one. I'm going to read the beginning here, and then I might just end up reading a lot of it because it's really hard to describe what's going on. Although, other than this creature who is like a skeleton boy with frog, skeleton frog, Scrog. Maybe that's it. But apparently he's the main character, and she's the what do you call it? The assistant character. Anyway, I'm gonna just completely leave that. Gee, Q, we can't wait to see what you see you in that wrapped up cellophane so nice. That celluloid, you little degenerate. It's another word for film. You're going to have all over you icky film? No, I'm going to be on the film, on the screen. Will you strain yourself if you fall through the screen? You're impossible. Now get this straight. I'm a stunt woman, and we're going to see me perform in a motion picture. Got it? Whoopee, movies. Why didn't you say so? Don't know who these characters are. There's no setup. So it's just these two characters, both on the same skateboard. I kind of thought they were on two different skateboards, but it's just one skateboard. Created, plotted, drawn by Bill Susinata. Scripted, inked, lettered by Jerry Giovinco. I did not look up Jerry Giovinco and to see what he has done since then. I might have to do that at some point. So they're just skating away on their skateboard. Scrog, where did I ever dig you up? Hey, me digged you first. I guess that means I'm stuck with you, huh? Scrog's it. Scrog, will you be careful on those turns? I'm a stunt woman, not a superwoman. Well, me thinks you maybe better hang on then, because we almost there. Screech! Atop the theater, which is our duo's destination, a diminutive figure from the green metropolis suddenly appears. And he's got eyes for Q. Dorothy never had legs like those. So I think this is part 2. If anybody knows anything about this, let me know, because it feels like this is a part 2 and that they have I don't know, interrupted or changed whatever they're doing. So it's a little bit confusing because I don't know who these characters are. The Emerald City is obviously the Wizard of Oz, and so we've got Wizard of Oz characters intermixed on this. I don't know if the Wizard of Oz was public domain at the time. I don't think it was. I'm gonna have to look that up and see when and if it ever was public domain. Hey baby, didn't I just see you on that movie? Well, I was in it, but only as a stunt woman. Like, wow, it's crazy how you can get into all those positions. Chauvinist. Doggy look, doggy look, doggy look. Scrog is looking at this dog. Scrogs it? I don't know if he scrogs it. What's that supposed to mean? Oh, my manners. My name is Rodney Lovefellow. Well, why don't you go love a fellow then? Drip. Drip. And then Scrog peed all over Lovefellow's shoes. There's my lovely, the wonderful thing she does to my body. What is this? Another attempt to win her favor? He cannot have her. No one can. She is mine. So this, I think it's a munchkin. I think it's supposed to be a munchkin from the Wizard of Oz that came into our world. Next time, curb that guy, lady. Scrog, I wish you would behave yourself. Man, they were my good alligator shoes. Your shoes will be the least of your worries, my friend. Huh? Nighty night. The Munchkin comes along and shoots him in the head, or shoots him anyway. I guess it is in the head. And then we're at the movie theater because that is the destination. So that at least makes a little bit of sense. Hey, wise guy, sit down. Where's the usher? Little rabbit foo-foo hopping through the forest. Is this part of the movie, George? Get this weirdo out of here. Come on, don't be crummanuts. Want to hear the end of my poem? Get him, guys. Things should have gone so well for the late Rodney Lovefellow. He didn't even make a sound. At least Toto barked. So more references to the Wizard of Oz. Is this Scrog supposed to be a Wizard of Oz character? I don't remember any Scrog in there, but I am also not a Wizard of Oz aficionado. But maybe I can make my astonished witness yelp. I'm sure he deserves it. He too must have lusted, for her. Ulp. I guess that's the movie usher or guy that sells popcorn or whatever. Movie attendant. Yummy. I don't know. Is that supposed to be popcorn being thrown at him? Is that the guy? Yeah. Get him, guys. And this is supposed to be popcorn being thrown at Scrog, I think. I'm pretty sure. I'm quite sure. Yep, yummy. That twerp's going to get mangled. Don't know what this is. This is the attendant being behind a glass pane, I guess, and somebody throws something at it. Boys, my friend Q gonna whoop you guys. Right, Q? Q? Mommy! Good shot, Q. But it wasn't Q. It was the Munchkin from the Wizard of Oz. Don't worry, my fair Q. I shall rescue you from these usurpers of your feminine pulchritude. I've never heard that word, pulchritude. I'm gonna look that up. I always love new words that I don't know what they are or anything. Ding dong, the creeps are dead. The creeps are dead. Ding dong, the wicked creeps are dead. And then he aims his gun at Scrog. Got me. He shoots him. Kapow. It does say kapow, but it doesn't say where he shot him. But his eyeballs roll in the back of his head. I don't know why he has eyes in a skeletal thing. You killed him. Yep. Too bad it wasn't Toto. Is she supposed to be? I have no idea who this is. Q. This Q. Is she supposed to be the stunt woman for Dorothy? For the Wizard of Oz? Dorothy? Maybe. I might have to look that up too. Now that we're alone, how about a trip under the rainbow? Bam! Q punches him in the face. He loses his gun. What a gal! Oops, my gun. Are you supposed to be dead? So I guess Q isn't dead. I mean, Scrog isn't dead. Graze my skull, will you? Me am going to lick your nose off for that. Ugh. He punches him in the face. If you only had a heart or a brain, and then meanwhile another figure has followed the yellow brick road. Well, my little munchkin friend has made it very easy for me to follow him. Yeah, lots of blood and guts, I guess. As we quickly go back to the theater, the action has taken a sudden turn. The Munchkin is punched by Scrog. This Scrog is so, I mean, I know he's part frog, but he's got like, these aren't his hands. These are like some sort of, I don't know what they are. Haha, your punch has put me within reach of my weapon. Prepare to eat Munchkin metal, Emerald One. I think not. You have caused enough trouble for one day, you malicious Munchkin. It will end now. Oh no, not him. The wizard. Come now. Oh, but wizard, I was only searching for the truth of life. Well, son, I've come to find that the only truth is inside this bottle. No, truly. In fact, I'd rather have this bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy. Now shall we depart? The poppies are in full bloom this time of year. But wizard, yes, I suppose there is no place like home. We'd better leave too, Scrog, before we get blamed for this carnage. Me not to worry, wizard. Say just to lick these red shoes 3 times and slurp. Earth. And that's it. So there's a lot of weird stuff happening. I do like the whole Wizard of Oz motif. It's just not done very well. And the fact that this is written by one person and drawn by the other person, it's a little bit odd because, you know, when you have a duo of an art and a writing team, you can kind of catch a few things. Like the artist could be like, this doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Or, would he say this or that? There's like a dual editing kind of thing going on as far as how quality the writing is. At least that's what I found. I really wish that there had been some sort of setup. Could you have told us who Q and Scrog really are? Especially Scrog. They do set her up as a stunt woman, but we don't know who Scrog is, and he doesn't, to me, look like anybody from the Wizard of Oz. So I really am really lost. I do really like I said, I really like the inclusion of the Wizard of Oz characters. I think that's really cool, and them coming to Earth. I don't know if that's ever been done before, but it's really a cool idea. The artwork, well, let's, as always, start with the story and the writing. The writing is it's silly. It's a comedy. So it's a little bit easier to judge as a comedy. It's not supposed to be taken seriously whatsoever. So there's a lot of slapstick, tongue-in-cheek kind of humor. But it also doesn't really read that humorously to me. Like, I didn't think it was all that super funny. Not even like chuckle funny, which I will, if I know that it's a humor comic book that I'm reading, I will kind of chuckle just because I know that I'm supposed to chuckle at certain parts. But, this didn't do it for me in the laughing department or the humor department whatsoever. It's just, a lot of stuff doesn't make any sense. I don't know who these characters are. These characters do things like they start a fight in the movie theater, but it doesn't really. It's not like he wants him to leave the stage or whatever. He's behind the stage. It doesn't really translate or flow that these guys are getting angry, so they attack the stage. There could have been some sort of panel where they do attack the stage, like instead of just this one where it kind of looks like they're going backwards, which I don't know if they're supposed to be going in the film room or whatever, but it just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And dialogue wise, like everyone pretty much has the same way about talking, same kind of dialogue. It's just a lot of exclamation marks. When everybody has a lot of exclamation marks, it really, I know that, we're going to have to get into this. We're going to have to get into the exclamation point at some point. Maybe my next, I don't know. I'm going to try to do some research about the exclamation point and what other artists and writers think about it. It's just used too much in comic books. I am Also, I've done this a lot. I use too many exclamation points. It's easy to understand in superhero kind of stuff, superhero comics books, but when everybody has an exclamation point, it just doesn't. It doesn't. None of the characters have any kind of differentiality in them in their dialogue. It's just like they're all yelling. They're all in the same tone. They're all in the same intonation. So why even do it? So again, I'm not really thrilled about the writing. The art, there's parts of it that I really enjoy, but I definitely don't see. I will have to get some of his artwork and check him out and look at the differences. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start getting older work and then newer work, and then it's maybe as they progress, I'll get some other work. It'll be really kind of hard to do that, but to really see the growth of an artist is really fantastic. But I mean, look at this. It's really hard. There's no like definition in the shapes and stuff. There are some good uh but figures. Some of the figures are good, and his narrative art does seem to be really well. I never had to reread anything because of the narrative art. He's working with a lot of panels per page, which makes it harder, but even then I never had to go back and reread anything because of that. I reread this drip because when you think of a dog peeing or a person peeing on somebody's shoes, you don't think of drip. You think of whiz or piss or something like that. So I did have to reread that simply because of the narration, not because of the narrative art. So the narrative art is actually really good. There's a few things. These guys probably should have been running the other way. There should have been panels in between these things. Like, why is this all cracked up? This probably should have been shooting the other way. But other than that, I really enjoyed the narrative art aspect of his art, and he uses a lot of different panel layouts and also artistically stuff. He's got some great action, and he's right here. The drawback is that he doesn't really have a handle on some of the concepts. He has this foreshortening thing going on, but he doesn't have a handle on how I hate it when people complain about the anatomy of people, because anatomy, everybody has different anatomy. But if you're showing foreshortening, or if you're showing some sort of three-dimensionality, then you really have to be you have to know kind of how a cylinder really works or looks when you're doing foreshortening stuff. I mean, he's obviously gotten better. I'm going to check out his newer stuff for sure. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot to like about his artwork. It's pretty simple. There's not a lot of texture. His inking, I think he inks it himself. I'm not entirely sure. Created, plotted, drawn by Bill. I can't. Scripted, inked, and lettered. So it's inked by Jerry Gianfranco. I'm thinking the ink probably did not do the pencils justice. I'm betting that I'm going to look this Jerry guy up and see if he did any other art. But I'm willing to guess that the inks really kind of butchered the pencils, which would actually make a lot of sense if the penciler did go off to be a penciler for Marvel or DC or whatever. That makes a lot more sense. He's probably way more talented than is showing here. But anyway, Scrog, the last story in Comico Primer #1. So anyway, I'm gonna give Scrog I'm going to give it a 5. I've said some nice things about it, but overall, the story, no, I'm going to give it a 6 because I do like the interwoven Wizard of Oz stuff. I do enjoy that part of it. So I'm going to give it a 6. The art is just too rudimentary. You can tell that he's got a lot of work to do. But like I said, the inking could have butchered it, but I don't know that for a fact. So I have to go on what is on the page. There's really not a lot of background stuff, and the background stuff is pretty good texturalized, but you don't know where anybody is because of the backgrounds. So it really doesn't make a lot of sense. But yeah, I did like it. to a certain extent. I'm going to say 6. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 6. That's my final score. I don't want to go and buy Scrog #1. If I see it in the dollar bin, I might get it just for having something that's an early Comico kind of thing. Comico. I'm not saying Comico. But other than that, just for nostalgia or anything like that, I'm not going to get Scrog #1 unless I see it, go through it, and see it's a lot different. Then I might possibly get it. But other than that, so as we all know, 7. If I'm not willing to go get it in the dumpster in the dollar bin, then I'm gonna rate it a little bit lower than a 7. So I'm introducing Scrog. I'm gonna give it a 6. So a whole. I think this is Matt Wagner. Anybody else think this is Matt Wagner's art? Because I certainly do think it's Matt Wagner. I've looked it up online. I've Googled it. They say it's not Matt Wagner, but I think it is. But anyway, for Comico Primer, I'm going to give this. I can't give this a grade of a 7 or over because if I see a Comico Primer #1, I'm going to buy it because it's worth like 20 or 30 bucks or something. Comico Primer 2, 3, 4, or 2 and 3 have Grendel stuff and all of that. I don't know how far Primer went, how many issues, how many volumes or whatever that it came out. I'm going to look that up too. But I would buy more in the dollar bin in a second because I know I would be able to sell them. So I'm going to give Comico Primer a. Oh man, this is really hard because a lot of the stories I didn't really love. But it's early on in their careers, and there's a lot of scenes that I do like from a lot of the artists. The characters, I'm gonna give it a 7. I'm gonna give Comico Primer overall a 7. So Scrog gets a 6. And Comico Primer gets a #1, gets a 7 as far as the art and the writing and everything goes because I would not buy it again to have, or I would not buy 2 or 3 or 4 if it didn't have Matt Wagner Grendel stuff. I just wouldn't. But anyway, thanks for watching, and let me know what you guys think about my scores. Are you in line with the scores, or do you think I'm way off? I would love to hear comments about what you guys think of my scores overall in all of the other videos that I've done, because a lot of people are like, hey, yeah, I have this and I love it and I think it's great. Or some people are like, oh yeah, that's trash. I would really love to hear what you guys give for scores for some of this other stuff. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscription button and the notification bell. But like I said, more importantly than that, I would love comments from you guys. I love to talk about comic books. I love to hear what you guys have to say. And yep. It's Wednesday, so we've got one more review. Maybe I'll do a reading tomorrow. I don't know. It depends how I feel. But as always, keep on creating.